How's it going, everybody? Happy Sunday. Give me just 1 second. That's not what I wanted to do. All right, perfect. We're gonna go here. Just checking my live really quick. Okay, maybe not. All right, perfect. All right, good evening, everybody. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Felt incredibly long for some reason, but much needed. Let's see here. That is I've moved my desk around, so I apologize for the latency here. But now I have a new camera angle, so interesting. Wow, good to see you in the full beat lab. Yeah, man, I got a new little angle here, you know. Um anyway, we're gonna go ahead as per usual. We're gonna go over the economic news going into this week. We're going to go over the earnings calendar. We're going to go over my watch list. Obviously, some headlines going over this weekend. And then we'll take your guys' requests. So if you guys do have requests, of course, you guys are on TikTok. Make sure to tap your screen. But make sure to do a $ and the stock and one per person, please. So. You ordered like 10 of those robes. That's awesome, man. Cool. Well, we'll have to meet up and do a matching robe thing. What's up, CJ? How's it going? All right, so let's go ahead and let's break into it. Let me drag this browser over here. All right. So I can be styling like Potter. Awesome. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and let's go over it. Last week, if you guys are on TikTok, as you can see here, this is the weekly uh, uh, heat map. Sorry, the weekly heat map. So we saw the S&P up 1.13%. We saw the Nasdaq up 2.3%, Russell 1.27%, and the Dow up only 0.02%. A couple of things. Stocks registered moderate gains, obviously, as the safe haven U.S. dollar fell to new lows. Investors are watching these three charts as they head into the new year. Jerome are watching these particular charts. Speaking of the Nasdaq, but just in particular the Dow. Jerome Powell's speech at the Booking Institution hinted at a slower pace of hikes at the beginning of the December meeting. However, this week's unemployment data showed that the strong labor market remains a major headwind in the battle against inflation. China remains in the news as protests pick up and impact supply chains for Apple and other major companies. Meanwhile, Pinduoduo rallied over 30% after reporting better than expected earnings. Late in the week, we saw an additional earnings reports and news that the government was beginning to reduce its harsh COVID-19 containment measures. Obviously, this is just, and we saw BABA, JD, all those other good stocks. So, thoughts on this week? What am I doing? Right now, we're going over just some headlines. I'll be taking people's requests, teaching, all that good stuff. So if you guys have any questions, we do it for free here. So ask away. Anyway, so the financial sector was shaken late in the week after Blackstone limited withdrawals in one of its largest private real estate funds, which I'm about to make a whole video on that. Investors remain concerned about the real estate value as the economic data shows U.S. housing market conditions continue to soften. All right, so some of the top headlines here. I'm going to zoom through this because that's just for time's sake. Obviously, we want to get to some requests here. So taking a look at Forex Factory. A lot of people ask me what the website is that I'm using. This is forexfactory.com. Monday through Friday, so 12/5, we got S&P Global Composite Services PMI, ISM Manufacturing PMI, factory orders. The Also, the Federal Reserve, Australian interest rate hike decision, balance trade on the 6th, as well as Chinese balance trade, Eurozone GDP third estimate, um, and Thursday unemployment claims, Friday. Or excuse me, I already said that. Friday core PPI month over month, PPI over month, and preliminary University of Michigan sentiment. So I want you guys to think about that. We do this every week. Every single week on Sunday, we have these moments, right? And then these moments fizzle away throughout the week as people start to lose sight of the sentiment and just forcing trading. So understanding how the market may want to see more data before kind of placing a sentiment on the meetings that we're going into in December. So that's important to think about. We've got ISM on Monday. That happens at 10 o'clock. So 10 a.m. reversal might be in order. Mondays, historically, not my best. I don't play Monday opens. When I do, I typically get burned. So in that practice, and as well as the fact that we have data lining up with it, it's probably going to be one of those Mondays where we take it nice and easy, watch, and wait for those hourly candles to close. Anyway, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have a little bit of a reprieve. Unemployment claims Thursday, and then Friday. So I believe Tuesday and Wednesday could be release days if we do not just stay consolidated. In terms of the earnings calendar, again, we're not in earnings season, so we don't really have anything crazy to report. AutoZone, Stitch Fix play on Tuesday, Wednesday, GameStop. That's really about it. AI, which this company used to be at like $60. I know somebody who lost their ass on that company. Costco, DocuSign, Lulu, Chewy, Express on Thursday. So Thursday might be an interesting one. And then Friday, Lee Auto. That one's always fun. Typically will give you a decent move, especially for lighter expiration options. But you have to be careful with those because there's low liquidity on those options. And therefore, don't typically give the return that you're looking for due to IV crush. A lot of people just dipping out. So he says a lot. No, I don't, dude. I don't think I've said it once. I think you have though. Anyway, it's Sunday night, man. Give me a break. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. All right, so we have that's about it. Earnings calendar, Forex Factory covered, the economic data, and so taking a look at the charts, I'm going to go ahead and a little bit of a different twist here. This week, I'm going to start, and we're going to go ahead and go over some of these ETF setups, especially going into the rest of the week. So here it is. This is what I got for you on SPY. And the best thing about this, guys, is the same thing that I preach day in and day out is find where buyers and sellers have established themselves and make your mark, right? So you can see right now, here's SPY, the ceiling currently. I haven't looked at futures, so if I'm way off, don't mind me. But 408, right? So that's currently the ceiling right now. The median in that zone above us is 413 or 412 50. So right there, dead center above us, and that would likely be the target if we do move to the upside. You guys see this wick right here? That's $400. So you guys can already tell that buyers have established a nice, soft, comfy zone, not only right at $400, but also 403.50. And I think that's going to be one of the marks that you would likely need to watch for a potential pullback. There is a possibility, and I'm going to throw an indicator on here. I know I don't use a ton of them, but we are going to take a look at the RSI right here. And I'm going to go to the daily. Tell me a bedtime story about how SPY is going to crash this week and how high my puts will be. All right. Might be able to brew a story up for you. You have to give me a minute. All right. So a couple things that I want to establish here now that we're zoomed out to the daily is take a look at this RSI. This thing is losing momentum as we're moving up. That is just plain to see. Not only that, we are, whether you like it or not, up against our downtrend. Okay? This is an important week. And if you have a little sticky note, notepad, whatever you want to do, um, and a pen, I still do this. I'll just write down SPY, right, at downtrend, right? Because that is important. And us, among millions of others, have probably seen, established that that is a downtrend. And that's currently where we're up against. So seeing liquidity hunts, you guys are already seeing a fat rejection, right? That rejection brought us down to 400 psychological number. We bounced. Now we're back up bundled. Yeah, you know what? Ryan, thank you for the excuse. I like that one. This is how I feel. Is proof of an unscripted live video. You heard the man. News on Disney stock. Tell me, yeah, I already. So the bedtime story is, um, nobody's allowed to pull withdrawals. The minute that they are, it causes a liquidity crisis. The housing market starts to crash out of control, and then you're rich. And then you buy out Simple Stacks and the PotterStocks name. I'm ruined financially, and there's your bedtime story, buddy. Good night. That's all I got to do. I just made that up. So anyway, just to focus in here, guys, on where exactly we are at on this chart in terms of levels. It looks really good, right? That we're up against that. But the fact of the matter is this little area right here. Okay, that is 407.50. And the median is going to be, like I said before, 412.50. So it is going to be imperative that we close a candle really above the median. Expect shitty price action in this area before we get a direction. So also, mind you, this is a bearish setup. So squeezing the shit out of bears is always an option, and one thing that you should keep in mind. So, all right. Amazon news on Disney stock. Make sure to Disney snot. Make sure to tap your screen, or else. No shame. Thank you guys on TikTok. I appreciate you guys. Drag this over here so that when I walk over to the camera, I don't look like a demon. All right, there we go. And it's a nice shadow. Look at the shadow. All right. So that's it. On SPY, clear levels. Make sure that if you have, you're starting out this week, make them nice and clean. Get your levels all settled so that way you don't have to clean things up in the morning and you don't feel like you're in a rush or in a hurry. And it also, you guys, one of the most important things about charting is setting alerts, especially on those lower time frames. So there's also something important to remember going into this week. This is how we pick price targets. This is how we pick direction. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you are a day trader or a swing trader, listen to me good. I don't mean to sound like an old wise man, but like this is where if you are at a directional change in the market, you need to see big time confirmation. And you're not going to find that on the first 30 minutes of the day. I'm telling you right now. So you can choose on how you decipher, but if you look below us, we got to get all the way down to 393 in order to start moving back down into a downtrend. And even then, there's still a couple of, I would even say 390 would be more of an imperative mark. So 390, and then to the upside, we've got 413. So you still have a great deal of space between you and direction. And I would say that on SPY, it's going to be 418.55 leading into 420, which is right about here. Honestly, 430 would be the price target for me if we do break down trend on SPY. Yeah, of course, SPY is done. Choppy PA before FOMC, definitely a possibility, man. Definitely a possibility. All right. Can you guys hear me pretty good on TikTok here? Hot, bro. Yeah, PA is price action. Voice fading on YouTube. Oh, what's up, Big Stepper? By the way, if you guys are new to the Discord, there are several different strategies that we utilize. In the morning, if you hear or see Big Stepper signaling, these are all going to be very quick scalps, mostly with a decent bit of size or great deal of size. So keep that in mind if you guys are joining us in the Discord or you are new, anything of that nature. So Snap will have a minor squeeze. I usually don't make money by just kind of like I don't want to call it wild skepticism or speculation, but typically that's not. It could. It's definitely one of those highly shorted stocks. So I'm gonna reel you guys in. Do I do what? Do I do what? That's a cool table of. Thank you, man. Trying to get this thing all right. All right, that's good enough for me. All right, I gotta sit down. Sorry about that. If you guys are on YouTube, I gotta sit down, and we'll turn this microphone up a little bit up. Futures are basically SPY has like futures. These are traded overnight. Basically gives you like a benchmark of where um, the markets will likely open up. So futures, obviously falling. You'll see a gap down. Futures rising up. Um, and you'll hear Manny and a lot of other people trading this. So you can trade on Sundays? No, no, you cannot. I like the setup. Thank you, man. That is much appreciated. I do too. I think it's pretty. That was really hard to put together, kind of. All right, there you go. Sorry, I'm done moving it. Short HD, thank me later. All right, guys, let's move on. Sorry, I had to do some camera adjustments on TikTok. So, moving into this week, that's SPY. I want to go ahead and go over Tesla. Guys, this is simplicity at its finest. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Right now, we have candles closing at 193.75. That is currently the lower time frame floor. In down the lower time frame, 191.55 and 190 are benchmarks, and I'll show you guys what this looks like on the downside. Forget about the wedge that you saw. That's over with. The lower time frame downtrend. Now, I did hear some people on TikTok. If you guys are with me on TikTok, all I ask is you guys tap my screen. Tap your screen so I can see it on my screen. Um but the algorithms are against me right now. I've seen a couple people saying that we have broken downtrend. We have not, okay, and that goes for the majority. We have not. If anything, Tesla could, right? And I've measured this several different ways. If and when Tesla rips, listen to me now. When Tesla rips, it will go back up to 265. It will. It is one of those stocks that people flock to, and as it has made new lows, I want you guys to remember one thing that I teach predominantly, right? And one of the biggest things that I talk about is when you lose a zone, right? And the job of sellers is to keep that stock going down. And then the zone that they fought so hard to make sure that it fell is broken back above, right? And this is the higher time frame, right? We're building the structure to our trading plan. We cannot build a structure to our trading plan unless we know what is going on overall. And so overall, a candle needs to open above 126 196, excuse me, 26, period. At that point, I see a simple retest of 205. That's awesome, right? 205, we've got a possible move into the 210 or 211 mark. But what is most important here is that if you break back into these 205 and 210 levels, people are going to FOMO like hell. And if the market gives us leeway, we will see continuation to the downside. I will agree that volume is actually higher right now. I will. That is something to pay attention. So let's do a little bit of observation here. As far as volume is concerned, here's some. I kind of don't like that they don't have like drawings, but here, this is the volume right now. I would say that's relatively high. In looking across the market. So let's do another one, right? And I am live on YouTube. Link in the bio. Mayo, can you? All right, you can turn the mic volume up a bit. The microphone. Wait, can you guys not hear me? My headphones are in. Yeah, let me see something. You guys can hear me? Okay. I don't know. Let me know if that works or not. I'm not sure. It is quiet. You're up and down. All right. Well, then I guess I'll have to stop showing off my setup. God damn it. That's all this supply wanted to do. And we'll focus on what's important. All right. So you guys can hear me. All right. So the important thing, right? And I want you guys to also keep in mind that when we go and step out to the weekly time frame, everything that we talked about last week happened. Everything. I went back and watched the YouTube analysis from YouTube. You can go check yourself. We retested the 197 and a nearly $200 level. I did state, and this is one of the most important things that we should remember this week, not a single candle closed below 192 on Tesla ever on the weekly. Ever. And so this is the first time. Granted, we did get a big bounce off of 168. The target to the downside is still 152. And that is if we continue obviously falling to the downside. But my point is remains that if you break back up into those $200 level, the 205 mark, I suspect that we will see a nice opportunity to take Tesla long and possibly a little bit of market reprieve. So you love Russian ladies, yeah? I haven't heard from you in weeks, and that's the first question you asked me. YouTube is pretty low. Let me YouTube. Can we get a? Okay, you guys can hear me fine. Okay, I just want to make sure. I moved my mic. If you guys are on YouTube, you guys can go look. Oh, apparently there's a mute button on my microphone. So yeah, sorry, I just pushed the wrong button. I was trying to make sure that you guys can hear me. Um, can you explain why there are gaps in the chart? Yes, gaps are simply when price moves overnight and opens up at a higher or lower price, leaving a gap on the chart, which is representative of low volume. Typically, those gaps are filled by high frequency traders. So good for you rescuing the teachers. All right, cool. Okay, so for Tesla, moving down to the 4 hour, once again, observe, right? Simple. 199, 200 is directly above that. The release, I would also like to point out that the trend line, right, is right about here. So there's a good possibility that Tesla could even go back and pull back into the 187 or 188.50 area before bouncing up and out. If that area is crossed, and I'm going to mark this right now. Tesla, so you guys can write this with me if you wish. Tesla 188.50. And I would go ahead and start looking for a move down into the 180 and 170. We'll call it 177.50, right? And that's down, obviously. No, I do not use VWAP. I do not use supply and demand at all. I have my own method that is a derivative of the Darvis box, but my own version of it. So it's unique to me. Yeah, I'll play a couple earnings for fun this week. So I'm eating these cookies from Italy. Those things, dude. Oh my god. I don't know who BA is, but they're gonna need to buy me a drink first. All right, so that's it. Tesla long right here. Tesla short right here. Bunch of bullshit in between it. So, all right. So the next one we're gonna be watching is Meta. So Meta, if you held your calls, I don't know if anybody held your calls. If you held your calls on Meta, this one did make its way in after hours, and in regular hour trading up to the 126.25, 127, right? Or excuse me, 124 mark. This one, I'm gonna simplify here for everybody. This is where Meta is at and what Meta looks like. If you guys take a look at the daily, we are pretty damn close to what I'm perceiving to be the floor, and that is 126.60, right? So Meta, right? And I'm writing this down too. These are just quick notes. Meta above us, and think this is 125. So watch 126, between 126 and 123.10. 126 and 123.10. But my opinion is that we should see around 120, at the highest 128.65. That would be the high. This one is getting to a previous rejection point on the RSI, and is seeing a little bit of an uptick in volume as momentum has risen. So we don't really care about the pattern. If this one does continue to rise, I would project 135 for Meta. But if you have those calls, we're just simply looking for the gap to be filled. That's it. All right. So Meta gap fill. This one might be preferred. Amazon, total ass, right? Not been fun, but is still in position to make a big move up or down. And we talked about this traveling uh uh support, right? We don't have a support. We didn't have a support. And whether or not Amazon is creating a um excuse me, a bear flag or a symmetrical triangle matters nothing to me. What matters the most right now is that we do not close a candle below, or excuse me, rather open a candle below 192.35, or on a lower time frame move below 90.50. Below that, I believe a gap would likely be filled down to $86, and more than likely you would be making a new low. We also talked about the fact that Amazon, if you guys remember last week, Amazon's median, or the area where we would project it would need essentially to, I'll get rid of all this bull crap. Essentially where it would need to release, and that's literally above that 97.35 level. I believe we should see a move back into 101. Uh, More than likely, we've been really, really tightly consolidated. So Meta, or excuse me, Amazon, probably. So people ask me, how do you find good setups, or what is a good setup to you? This is a good setup. The reason why this is a good setup for me, right? The reason why this is an attractive setup is because Amazon, right, at 107.87 or 101 has a confluence with the downtrend, right, that we have set here. Move that up a little bit. So there's a confluence in between 101 and $100.75. And so bouncing, right, and establishing where we're at right now, the ceiling or the floor beneath us, right? You can see not a single candle closes. Every single time that they push this down lower, they grab liquidity from those bears and they jolt this thing right back up. And so you've noticed that buyers do support this, and it has been operating on relatively low volume. So all that being said, I would like to see a candle push above 96 and $97 for a move into the 101 mark, and potentially 104. So it is, we'll call it 97, right? 97.05. Oh, nice. Snake oil TikTok. This is not snake oil, it is mead. But we do burn snake oil from other people. Um, that's all right, guys. Don't mind those people. They're new here. We don't do the bullshit. Um, what do I look for to swing a ticker? Typically strength in that sector. Typically a definitive area where sentiment can be drawn, um, as well as I typically like to have a market cap that's, relatively high. So, I'm not gonna. I'd much rather trade a Costco than a CVS. When you're finding setups for good R&R, are you aiming for a $2 or $3 truck? Right. So Matthew, I would typically, and it depends on the stock, depends on the options, depends on my plan. But for the most part, I'm not interested in a dollar move. I'd like to see at least a $3 to $4 move. That would be accurate, Matthew. I would also add to that when I am looking for long positions, further than that, then I would typically be looking for 10 to 15, and this of course depends on the stock. From something like Snapchat, I might expect $5 to $6. So I do use EMAs, but I only use them to confirm areas, right? So I confirm resistances or supports. Um, a lot of the times they're obviously going to be a little bit different, but right here, see 20-day EMA at 96.75. So I'll use those to confirm things, but that's about it. So, and I look at the 1 hour on Tesla. I do not see a double top. That is not a double top because it comes from a downtrend. This would actually, and I'm actually really happy with the channel that I have on it currently. But this would be typically defined as the beginning of a potential inverse head and shoulders with a shoulder here, head here. And if we were to pull back down, which is what I'm kind of suspecting as the market's kind of losing strength moving up, is 181.30. So I did do Spy and QQQ, but you're never too late. As if you guys go to YouTube, I am on YouTube, uh, and you can rewind, go back and forth, everything you need to do. Yeah. So anyway, I see Tesla with a potential push up into the again the 203.50, maybe 205. So hard to try and learn your strategy, but I am trying to learn more every day. How long have you been doing this, man? How many days out do you look for in options? So I would say the newer you are, the further you should go out. But for me, I typically would like an expiration at least 7 to 14 days on a day trade that I plan on holding for the majority of the day. And then anything that I suspect could be moving on high momentum, I'll go with a shorter expiration, usually about a week. Also, as a trader, I know you have had red days, but it's possible to have you uh, have you had a red month for someone as experienced as you? Yes, Matthew. I had a red month in September of last year. Um, and September of this year actually was a no gain month. I had no gain. So yeah, I'm on your YouTube as well. Probably will line later. Cool. Yeah. Can yeah, if you guys, I'm missing comments on TikTok, unfortunately. Yeah, big red, big green, doesn't matter. We're gonna play on either side. I like the 2 to 4 hour expiration. Get out of here, dude. All right. Meta, Tesla, Amazon. That's it. Moving on to take your requests. If you guys are on TikTok, um, please, if you will, um, tap your screen. If we can get to, and I know it's outlandish, but if we can get to 100K likes, I will open up the Discord PotterStocks channel where I signal and put all of my analysis for the remainder of the week. So if you guys can help me out get to 100K, that is basically all of my signals, all of my analysis, levels, etc., etc. All right. Any way to dummy down the Greeks for us? Yeah, let's take a minute and go over the Greeks. All right, so real quick, we'll do, and I'm gonna dummy it down. I'm gonna move through it because I want to take people's requests. So if you guys have requests, give me 1 second. I am gonna dummy this down really, really quickly. So we're gonna go over delta, gamma, vega, theta, r, rho, whatever you want to call it. So Delta categorically tracks price. Delta has one of the biggest roles in options trading, especially for an options buyer. Delta identifies how much option premium will change based on off of a $1 move on the underlying stock. So for an example, if you buy a call with a 0.30 delta and the stock moves from $100 to 101 or $101, your option contract will rise 30 cents in value or $30 in value. Delta can be used also to predict the probability of an option expiring in the money. Not a lot of people know about that. But if it is 0.46%, that has a 46% chance of going in the money. Thank you guys. If you guys are just hopping on YouTube, I forgot what the hell it was called for a second. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, absolutely. 1 second. Um, hey, hello. Please, man. Please, 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 please. You kind of do this. Don't cloud the chat up, man. I think you've asked me to do it like 5 times, bro. So no offense. Just please in the future ask one time. Nobody has priority over anybody in here. I'm here to help everybody equally. And if you're in the Discord, I'd be happy to take a look at whatever it is that you're watching tomorrow morning. And you can unmute yourself and ask me whatever you want. So there's a lot of streams. I've got ADHD, so I'm good at juggling, but link in bio for the top screen is free. It's just heat map. I think it. Oh God. Okay, we're good. All right. So anyway, moving forward, gamma tracks delta's rate of change, right? If you have a delta of 0.30 and the gamma of 0.05, and the stock moves from $100 to 101, the premium will increase by 0.30, right? If the stock moves to 102, then the premium will increase another 0.35, right? 0.35 or $35 because we add delta and gamma together. Pretty simple math there. Vega estimates how much the option price will change for every 1% change in implied volatility. For example, if I have a call and Vega is 0.04, if implied volatility increases by 1%, my premium for the call will increase by basically 0.04 or 4 cents, $4. Many things can cause a move in implied volatility or IV, essentially earnings reports, political reasons, news, etc., etc. IV can be a gift or a curse, obviously depending on your trade. Theta measures the amount an option will decrease in value for every day that passes. If you have theta of negative point or 0.06%, or basically negative $6, right? Then the option is expected to lose $6 every day in value. Rho measures the rate of change on an option due to the interest rate changes due to the if the contract is $1 and you have a row of 1.0, the interest rate changed by 1%, then your contract will change by $1. And that's it. So that's just a sound coming in and out. That sucks. Oh well. Well, we'll just it's going. It's going. All right. So we're done with the you're dead. I just had to go and destroy. Yeah, I'm sure that's better. These have been washed. It's probably about time for some new ones. Cookies are stupid. Yeah, I do know of a website that tracks dark pool. Hold on. There you go. You're interested. Yep. Okay. So what advice would I give someone who wants to become a great trader as yourself? Well, thank you. Um, I mean, there's a ton of advice I would give somebody, but I would say have a unbreakable attitude. It is not a question of if, it is when, and you will. If you have a stone cold, I will not be like whatever it is, then I think that is one of the um magic cards, right? Most people are very emotional, right? And that's totally understandable. It's your fucking money. Um and to release from the money, right? It I can tell you this, when I started making more money when I stopped worrying about it. When I stopped worrying about how much money I was going to make and just focused on making money, I started making money. Right? Well, let me say this. Started focusing on executing and executing my trades, focusing on accuracy, entries, exits, stop losses, contract expiration. Then I started making money. People go about it the opposite way. They start looking for money and they say, well, once I get money, then I'll learn the right way. No. Do it now while you have not a lot of money, especially if you are smart and you kept a small amount of money, right? in your account, it's it's really smart. It's a good thing. So, but that basically saves you from true emotional damage. I blew $80,000, and I can't tell you that it still gives me constipation. I hate it, right? But it was necessary. And did I put $80,000 into the market? Absolutely not. I put in 500 and I turned it into $80,000, and that was what I pulled away from it. That's what, out of all the bad things that I did, I pulled that I made $80,000 out of 500. Say something to me now. You know what I mean? And I believe that and I'm going to be honest with you guys, there's a small part of me that I have to, and I don't want to, you have to believe in yourself. And you got to believe that you're good, right? Even if it's just at identifying a bull flag. I am the best bull flag finder. You know, and you don't have to say it to anybody, but it's just a confidence thing. I am executing. I am going, like, I don't know. It's a combination of those two. Where I would say most people would say, you know, go learn your technicals, go make your. It's an attitude. Every technical, every chart, every dark pool, every, you know, flow, all of these things can be learned. You can listen to audiobooks, you can watch me, you can watch tons of other creators, but that's going to give you, you know, that's going to be yeah. Well, even percentages, man. I mean, here's what I do. This is the basics of my trade. I think Tesla, here's my trade. Ready? Simplified as easy as I can get it. And I'm just making this up. But for example, right, due to my analysis, I believe that Tesla, based on this trend line, right, should make its way up to, we'll call it 204.30 or 203 204.60, right? I believe that's where Tesla goes. So my trade is Tesla. My entry is here. My stop loss is a candle close underneath it, depending on the time frame. My target is here. If Tesla goes here and pulls back and hits my stop, I'm out. Sorry, right? If Tesla goes here halfway to my target, I'm already trimming to start paying for the trade, start reducing my risk, taking advantage of that IV, right? Wouldn't you want to sell hotcakes when people want hotcakes? Or would you rather sell hotcakes when no one wants hotcakes? It's simple as that, right? You sell options when people are buying them. So, all that being said, it either hits my target or it doesn't. That's it. That is the simplest way that I can deliver it to another human being. It either hits my target or it does not. It either hits my stop loss or it sits above, you know, and there is a limit to it. If I have an option expiration that's, I don't know, next week, yeah, if it's chopping all day, I'm out. Deuces. There's no making money with that. If I bought the right contract and we're choppy and it's 2 months out, gang, let it slide. We're going to go ahead and sit on that, set a solid stop loss. And if it goes to our target like a snail, oh well, we still made money and it still hit our target. Execution over everything. That meant something totally different in the 1600s. All right. So let's see. I want hotcakes. I don't know, different ref. Do you need hotcakes? Are they going to make you a better person? All right, so let's go ahead and take some requests. Enough chatting. If you guys have requests, I see you guys have dropped those. I'm going to scroll up. Please make sure to only type those in one time. Let's see. We got. I'm trying to see. Okay, so the first one that we got is Microsoft. Hey, so the last time that we did this, damn, wow. Who? Somebody go. I'll give someone $20 to go find the video where I broke this down last week. Hot damn. So, uh, Microsoft, right? Apparently is abiding by my analysis exactly. So we got a nice pop break above the 247.87. We went and hit the target on the dot. Damn, I should play Microsoft. 257.75. That was exactly what we talked about. Now we're doing the whole choppy chop to the downside. But who cares, right? Because these things obviously can build, be very recognizable, and then take your lunch. We need our lunch. So I don't know what I just deleted, but it felt like it was the wrong thing. So let's do this, okay? We are going to pull this area right here. This is our no-no square. We're gonna turn it red. It's a lake of fire. We don't want to go there. If you guys have any requests on TikTok, please drop them on the YouTube channel. That helps me track them. Excuse me. So 250 is currently the floor for Microsoft, and that's just a simple psychological number. The ceiling for Microsoft, which needs to be opened up above, right, is very clearly 256. All right. So here you are. Green. And we'll make this that's a yellow, right? We'll this is the area in which you would likely chop. So Monday, tomorrow, 253. Watch 253. And that may be an area where you could possibly watch for Microsoft to pull back again. But your upside, right? And the rest of your trend, or the continuation of your trend rather, relies on, and this is important to think about, or just to look at, relies on Microsoft maintaining and holding this area overall, right? And this is going to be all the way up to 267. So currently we are building a floor on top of this level that we tried. So listen, this Microsoft is big because either it fails or it doesn't. And that's going to be the big question here, is whether or not the market will allow Microsoft, or and if the market does resume that uptrend. But all that being all that being said, right? Everything, like everything else, we got one of these. I do not like it. When do you enter? Personal question. I typically will, when I chart or when I look for an entry, say it's hourly candles closing all at a particular price mark, I wait for a candle to open above that. Typically is my best entry. So I look for the time frame relevant level. Typically candles on, the hourly, if I find a level that no candles close above a single level, they all stack up against it, up, from the 15 to the 4 hour, then I know that that's a strong level to be regarded. This would be a good example on Microsoft, which is obviously 250 and 250. Simple, right? So that's it. And Microsoft is basically at the precipice. So, all right. So I'm going to try and zoom through these, my friends. PBR. I remember this one. You had me chart this one a long time ago. So whenever I look at a new chart, I always start with the weekly. Do I use patterns? Uh, so I like to know when they're around. I think that is incredibly important. If you can see patterns, that means somebody else can too, and that means that it's going to be taken advantage of. And there's ways to see that before it happens, so that way you don't get clapped, right? So that way you're not on the wrong side of the trade, which of course there's never ever any guarantees. That's creepy. I don't like that. Sorry, all of my analysis is real time, folks. So no corners are cut. All right, so PBR currently has and had a ceiling above it, and that is basically $12. Until a candle opens above $12, more than likely this will continue or resume its downtrend. Um, that being said, you have one, two, three, four rejections off of a particular price target, and you've got this bad boy, right? So this trend has been broken, and we can go and move to the daily now and start to kind of really. So this could be in fact, a triple top. Um, so I would really pay attention to PBR, especially. So now that we're on the daily, I'm going to mark this up for you. So if you want to screenshot it or come back to it later, this is going to be pretty important right here. So this is currently your floor, and that is your ceiling, where you don't or should not go if you're a bearish. Here is your median. That is going to be 1080 or 1050. No, it's going to be 1080. I'm on the money. I'm on Trend Spider, but Trading View is good too. It's all the same thing from what I can tell. Some just have better tools than others. So this is either a breakdown, and basically we have bounced and we have retested. So a open above 1178 and basically $12 is where I would anticipate a recovery. Otherwise, this could be the retest before making a major move down. And I would actually start looking at new lows, or at least new 52-week lows. So, all right, so let's keep it moving. I want just no delay here, guys. I'm just zooming along. I've already done Meta. It's on YouTube. Everything that I've done already. Adobe, what the hell? There we go. All right, so I haven't looked at Adobe in a minute. We're gonna go ahead and just start with the daily here, and I'm gonna go to the 4 hour. I don't like that. We're gonna go back to the daily, turn off the extended hours, and so I imagine everybody is watching that. Sure enough, we are up against that downtrend, which leads me to believe that Adobe has one of these. So you are currently up against downtrend when it comes to Adobe. This could be a historical area to short, or a epic area where you could see a squeeze. So that being said, um, I would say there's more of a correction, but take that with a grain of salt. But it looks like you kind of got a channel going. So Adobe, right, right here, that's 318.75. 318.75, and I would be looking for a gap fill. That gap fill is at 302 and basically $300. When that is broken, I would imagine, or I if that's broken, 278, and I would be looking for new lows. Um Especially if you, like, say, gapped up very weakly the next day. But here you are. And with that being said, a candle open above 351.25, I would call for a gap fill all the way to 370. Simple as that. Those would be my triggers. Do you still use Benzinga? Yeah. How long am I gonna go live to? Um, I'll probably get off around 9:30, 9:45. I try and make my way, through the chart, but I'm also up pretty early. Mondays not so much because I meet with my mentors, a lifetime gang. Hmm. Tough little chart here. So here's what I'm thinking. Um, First of all, I don't really like that number very much, but I do see that it's part of a wider consolidation zone. So here's what I'm thinking for cat, and I on these ones, it's never a terrible idea to go the weekly. Yeah, this actually did exactly what I kind of figured it was going to do. I think the last time that I charted it. All right, so I don't really care about that because it doesn't really matter because the trend is incomplete. But what I do really care about is the fact that we did close up above 230, and that's going to be right here. You can see that you've built a floor. Every single candle closes above 230, and the ceiling above you right now is currently looks like it's 238. I would pin the point of control is 235. So a candle open above 235, I would imagine cat should go and revisit its previous highs around 245. So, um I am an I'm an option swing and day trader. Nice. Yeah, I would say I'm about the same thing. I only do I do leaps sometimes like that, but I'm also kind of a I'm not much of a long-term investor. I don't keep equity for like 20. I'm not planning on holding shit for 20 years, unless it's in a dumper, you know. I don't scalp very often either, so. Um, Crowd, any room for bullishness? Let's take a look. I would say yes, that definitely heightens the probability. Um, but anyway, for cat, right now you're sandwiched between your floor of 230, which you don't want to open a weekly candle below. Sorry, I didn't finish that. And then 245, which was the previous highs. So this is either A, and I would suspect that it's A, that you are looking to, because you have opened and built on top of 230, as long as that is held, I believe that cat should still continue making a new high and possibly even um, new high, just new highs, period. But important to keep in mind that they have a lot of Chinese exposure, so that's always a wild card there. Potter, did you used to skate? Yes, I did. I did. My shins got holes in them. I got a pretty cool picture of me doing a 360 flip that I didn't land. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, so the next one was crowd. Ugh. The weekly actually looks kind of interesting, but we're going to go down to the daily, much more reasonable. You know what? I think we might actually have to go to the yeah, so let's go here to there, spot that. That is currently that floor. Makes sense. Okay, so here we go. Currently, crowd is basically a no man's land, and this is the mark that will keep it there. This is what an interesting chart, huh? Very unique looking chart. 1 second. Okay, so trend could be considered to be reclaimed, but it's not. It's not about reclaiming. Do you see how freaking perfect that standard deviation channel lined up? You find trend. This helps you find the areas within that trend. I would imagine that crowd. So check this out. This is exactly how I would set this trade up. 120, 114, or depending on what your entry is, right? 120.37. That's more than likely where you would probably pull back down. Probably wouldn't be great price action and better to wait. Now, as long as that floor is held, I would be looking for at least a move up into the 132.85 or the gap fill in itself. And if that gap is filled, that would just be a proper retest of the area that you broke. And that's it. So SPY to 500. Get out of here, dude. There's no way. This man said 500. I'll give you 500 when it gets to 500. All right? You screen record it or something. I'll give you 500 when SPY gets to 500. No, I'm just playing. But I mean, I will. I will. I'm not playing about that, but I just don't think it I don't think that SPY goes to 500 on this bounce. Maybe the next one. But I think right now they're probably going to jerk us around a little bit. I think that you should invest in Italian cookies. Mm-hmm. Take a look at SPY. I mean, he's not bugging. You know what I'm saying? He's not off for thinking we're at the place where the downtrend since January, right, is we're finally up against it again. So, and not only, man, I wish this run was like the last time, but this run was particularly hellish. So, um, I have a feeling that if we do see a projection, it would probably be with some vigor. But if we do see some upside, SPY 430 at least. No, Matthew. So the question isn't how many days. Like, yeah, if you just keep losing because you're making bad trades, don't trade. But if you took a trade, you stayed within your risk, you pre-planned this risk out, and you cut, and you take a, let's say you lose 30 or 40 bucks, or you lose, let's say you lose 180 bucks, but you got a 60, $70,000 account. Does that mean you should stop trading? I don't think so. I think that if you even did that 2 or 3 more times, if you stay within your risk, but I would say it's based off market conditions, not you. Because most of the time when people lose money, it's because the market condition changes really quickly and goes into like a consolidation phase or something like that, which makes it harder for them to utilize their strategy. Therefore, they lose money, et cetera, et cetera. So if the market is not providing a trade, don't take it. If you see something, do something. That's my thoughts. Yeah, that's it for CrowdStrike. Stay above 120.75, 120. Uh, so if I was in Hudson Technologies and I bought at $5, I would want to make sure that I don't lose 1031. So it's always a good idea to take maybe some profit off the table and then set a nice little trail. What's up, Chilbo Swaggins? Tatvo. Which one you want? Are you looking at USD or you gotta elaborate on that one? Silver is BS. I don't trade silver, dude. I do not trade silver. But this is all that and I'm just gonna keep this because I don't wanna put too much into this when it's not my area. But this is TA at its simplest. So right now I would say your floor or where things really change for you is gonna be below 21.45 again. All right. I do not trade crypto, no. TBT. Yeah, treasury bonds are fucking dunking, dude. Right now the only floor that I have for these bad boys is 2780. 2780 would be where I would be watching for treasuries to land based on the current momentum. Um, DKNG, that's hot dog water. Oh my god, dude. How's this even nobody buys this shit anymore. Um, this is kind of, I mean, I wouldn't, but teach their own. Okay. Took me a second here to figure this one out. I still don't have it. There it is. All right, so I would say right now it's going to be 16 bucks. There is a lower time frame downtrend that you look like you're trying to break, but there is no volume and you have three really weak bullish, well, green candles, right? So I would suspect that if you do not, and yeah, I'd say that if you do not go and make a significant move past that 15, or really I'm going to call for 17 bucks even, um but you're looking at making new lows on DKNG. So and if I was to chart DKNG right now, I would immediately do one of these numbers. Yeah, I would be looking at DKNG down to $2. Upside, I'd be looking at 21. Listen, I am not ever, dude. Cannabis, they're gonna always destroy people with cannabis. I this chart needs resuscitation. Here you go. Shopify. Thank you last week's Garrett. So I called for or mentioned that we could see a 45.50. I also mentioned that candles needed to close above 42.50 and 42.25. They did, but they need to hold them. So if you open up below that, watch for a retest or gap fill, and then if you continue moving down, there is a lower time frame channel. I would suspect that you will pull back to 37.75 and more than likely you will move all the way back down to $29. So upside though, I would imagine that the next target on crowd is going to be 48.57 if it doesn't sit there and chop for the next week. You still holding those Zoom shorts from earnings? Yeah, I am. I don't have anything like crazy in it, so I mean, whatever happens, happens. It was an earnings trade. Mm-hmm. Damn, those are sour. You know what it is. Star bulk? The hell does that even mean? I would say that this chart has a very clear and in fact, one could even just do that and say don't fall below 41.77 and $40 even. So could you do BlackRock? Yeah. This is my strategy I'm working on. I start on the daily and guess where price action is headed. I would stop you right there, dude, until you start back over. We don't never guess. Watch. Learn what decides price action. That's where the answer is. Then look for obvious levels for puts and calls. Is there anything that you can I mean you need to elaborate, you know, like what are you looking for at those levels? What gives you an indication to enter or not? I did do Amazon, yes. How do I read short volume? What do you mean? If short volume is rising, that means more people are shorting that stock, which means that if it goes up, those bears are gonna get smacked in the nuts. Yeah, I think Tesla calls could be the move, but again, we'll talk about this all in the morning, so that way there's no confusion. Yo, oh CVNA, dude. Fuck. Yo, what is wrong with that stock? Damn, dude. All right, I mean, it seems like it's falling back down. All right, so really, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. This looks terrible. It's got decent volume, so possible accumulation happening. Your floor is here, and your ceiling is here. That's 1285 above you, and 625 below you. Uh, this chart is exceptionally. It's just obvious how much volume has left this chart, and my best guess is that because you are sitting flat on top of support, you have not broken. You should have already done so. As long as you stay above 655, you should bounce up into the 11.90 and $12 area for a retest. So, all right, guys. It is 9:40. I'll go ahead and do one more, and we'll go ahead and keep it moving. I've already done Amazon. Did DKNG. Looks. I do not expect a super clear direction. No, unfortunately, I do not. But I think it would be possibly the last week if I we might see a couple of days. Yes, I think the last time we talked about this one, it was $30, and that still stands below 30. I would imagine this makes new lows. So, and there's a small gap to fill, so I would make sure that at least a higher time frame candle closed. But on the flip side, you could see a bounce and a move of the median into the 35 or 36.16 area. So we'll do BlackRock really quick too, because I know you asked me about that one. Ooh, BlackRock has a gap up there and what potentially looks like a flag here. Okay. BlackRock right now has a floor below it at $700, which it's already sitting on, and 686, basically the remainder of that gap fill. I suspect that if you lose that level, more than likely you will see 660.60, and that would be a definitive area where BlackRock would likely start changing direction. So we'll see how that news impacts them, though. All right, folks. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm getting tired. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the hay. I will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early. Make it a good week. Schedule things out. Write them down. You will get out what you put into this. So, put in that extra effort. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Peace. All right, TikTok.